My son-in-law thought money gave him the right to humiliate me. In front of his wealthy business partners, he knocked my dinner plate onto the floor and laughed loudly while pointing at me. Then he said, "If you want dinner, lick it off the floor like the old man you are." Everyone at the table froze. My daughter looked terrified but stayed silent. I slowly stood up, adjusted my coat, looked straight into his eyes, and said only 3 words. The moment those words left my mouth, his smile disappeared instantly. He had no idea that by the next morning, his entire world would begin collapsing, and there would be nothing he could do to stop it. For most of my life, I believed respect mattered more than wealth. I spent 43 years building a company from absolutely nothing. I worked endless nights, sacrificed vacations, missed birthdays, and poured every ounce of my energy into creating a logistics empire that eventually became one of the largest private transportation networks in the state. When I retired, I handed most responsibilities to a board of directors and stepped away from the spotlight. I wanted peace. I wanted to enjoy watching my daughter Emily build a beautiful family. When she married Ryan, I welcomed him with open arms, even though something about him always felt wrong. Ryan had charm, the dangerous kind, the kind people confuse with confidence. Expensive suits, expensive watches, expensive cars. He loved showing off success, even when much of that success came from other people. Over the years, I noticed something disturbing. He rarely spoke to me with genuine respect. He tolerated me because I was Emily's father, but I could feel his arrogance growing stronger every year. Then came the invitation. Ryan announced he was hosting a private dinner at his luxury penthouse. Several senior investment partners would attend. Some executives from international firms were also joining. Emily insisted I come. I arrived wearing a simple dark suit, nothing flashy. Ryan greeted me with a fake smile that already told me he had something planned. Dinner began normally. The guests discussed mergers, investment portfolios, expansion strategies. Ryan dominated every conversation, trying desperately to impress the room. Halfway through the meal, one executive asked how Ryan learned his leadership so quickly at such a young age. Ryan laughed loudly. Then he looked directly at me. "Well, I definitely did not learn it from old-school dinosaurs who still think business is about shaking hands and loyalty." Several guests chuckled awkwardly. I ignored it, but Ryan was just getting started. A few minutes later, while reaching for his wine glass, he suddenly slammed his hand hard against my dinner plate. The plate crashed onto the marble floor. Food scattered everywhere. The entire room went silent. Ryan leaned back, smiling like a predator enjoying the moment. Then he said words I will never forget. "If you want dinner, lick it off the floor." Seems appropriate for retired people who no longer matter. My daughter gasped quietly. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. I slowly pushed back my chair. I stood up calmly. I buttoned my coat. Then I looked directly into Ryan's eyes, and I said 3 words. "You forgot ownership." Confusion spread across his face immediately. He laughed nervously. "What does that even mean, old man?" I smiled slightly. "It means you forgot who owns everything connected to your future." Then I walked out. Ryan thought I was bluffing. That was his biggest mistake. You see, 6 months earlier, Ryan approached one of my former board members, looking for private capital. He wanted funding for a technology startup he believed would make him even richer. What Ryan never understood was where that money came from. The venture capital group funding his startup, the penthouse lease under his company, the luxury car program he proudly drove, even the partnership dinner he hosted. All of it was indirectly tied to companies I quietly controlled through holding corporations after retirement. Ryan thought he built his empire alone. He was standing on foundations I owned. The next morning at exactly 7:30, I made 4 phone calls. The first call froze all pending investment transfers to his startup. The second terminated his premium corporate credit line. The third informed the building management that executive leasing privileges were revoked effective immediately. The fourth contacted legal counsel requesting a full audit into suspicious misuse of corporate assets connected to Ryan. Then I sat back and poured coffee. At 12 o'clock my phone rang. Ryan. I let it ring. 8:15. Ryan again. Ignored. 8:19. Emily called crying. Dad, what happened? Ryan is panicking. Every account is frozen. I remained calm. Actions have consequences, sweetheart. By noon, the investors who attended dinner had already heard whispers. Nobody wanted association with a man under financial audit. One by one, partnership deals disappeared. At 8:30, Ryan showed up at my house. No expensive car, no arrogance, no confidence, just panic. The same man who mocked me publicly now stood trembling at my front door. Please, sir, I made a mistake. I stared quietly. He dropped to his knees. I should never have disrespected you. I leaned closer. Do you know what destroyed you, Ryan? He whispered. No, it was not the money. It was believing power means humiliating people weaker than you. Tears formed in his eyes. Please give me another chance. I stood and walked toward the window. For years I tolerated your disrespect because of Emily. But yesterday, you humiliated me publicly because you thought I had become powerless. You forgot something important. The strongest men in the room are often the quietest ones. Ryan left knowing everything was gone. 3 weeks later, Emily filed for divorce after learning he had secretly manipulated financial documents for months. The investigation expanded. Fraud charges followed. His reputation vanished permanently. Months later, I attended another dinner. Different guests, different room. This time, one investor smiled and asked me something. How did you stay so calm while he humiliated you? I smiled. Because real power never needs to shout, and revenge is most satisfying when served through patience. Never underestimate the quiet person sitting at the table. The man everyone ignores may be the one holding the power to change everything. Respect costs nothing, but arrogance can cost you your entire future. Ryan learned too late that humiliating others for entertainment can destroy everything you spent years building. Sometimes justice does not arrive with anger. Sometimes it arrives with silence, and one final move nobody sees coming.